Hello, and welcome to an introduction of the Vocalize System, presented by Broadened Horizons. I'm your host, K.O. Clayton. Cell phones have come a long way in the last 2 decades. We've gone from this to this. Now we have things like Bluetooth and so-called hands-free devices. But even with this technology, phones are still not truly hands-free. Until now. The Vocalize System turns nearly any cell phone into a truly hands-free device with no button manipulation and no need to hold the phone. Let's take a look at the Vocalize System by Broadened Horizons in action. Okay, so I want you to pan to me. Once I get to my mark, telephone. Hey Mom, what's up?
Not much. What are you doing?
Just filming right now. Well, getting ready to film.
Dad and I were thinking about going out to get something to eat tonight, and just want to know where you wanted to go.
I have no idea. What do you think?
Doesn't matter to me. Why don't you just figure it out and give me a text, okay?
Okay, alright, I'll talk to you later.
Alright. Bye, bud.
Bye. End call. Telephone. Call Dad. Confirm. Hey Dad, what's up?
Not much. What are you doing, bud?
Not much. Mom said that you guys were thinking about going out to eat, and she doesn't have a preference on where we go, and she told us to kind of figure it out. What do you want? What are you thinking?
Pizza sounds pretty good.
Alright, how about Joe's? That sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Alright, I'll text her, okay?
Oh, yeah, you're going to take care of it?
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Alright, bye. End call. Telephone. Text Mom. Pizza sounds good to us. I think we are going to go to Joe's. Done. Now, any piece of adaptive equipment worth its weight has the flexibility to be fitted onto almost any user. This flexibility is exactly what makes the Vocalize System such an amazing piece of equipment. With different ways to mount and power the device, and different speaker and microphone options, the Vocalize System is conveniently installed to almost any user. Let's take a look at some of the mounting and installation options available for the Vocalize System. Let's start out by exploring some of the options to power the Vocalize System. The easiest way to power the system is to plug it directly into your wheelchair using the Vocalize Power-to-Go wheelchair power converter. However, if plugging directly into your wheelchair isn't convenient, then it is possible to power the device by connecting it directly to the terminals of your wheelchair's batteries. To do this, you must first find which terminals will produce 24 volts or greater when they are connected together using a voltmeter. Once you know which terminals to connect, just tighten the connector with the plus 24 volts written on it to the red positive terminal. Then tighten the other connector to the negative terminal on the other battery. With everything put back together, the only thing you should have left exposed will be this 3-pronged connector. That 3-pronged connector will then fit into the inputs on the Vocalize Power-to-Go wheelchair power converter, which will then send power to the Vocalize System brain box. Also, using the secondary 3-pronged connector, there is the option to charge a cell phone, also using the wheelchair's internal battery. Simply attach the short converter cable and a USB port is made available to charge the phone. The Vocalize system also has an available option to power it using a third-party external battery. To do this, simply attach the Vocalize system's brain box to the external battery using the cable provided. After connecting the battery, be sure that the battery's power switch is in the on position. This option also provides the ability to charge your phone. This USB input will charge your cell phone while also powering the Vocalize system. Now, let's turn to the microphone options that are available with this system. First is the lapel microphone. This microphone is highly directional and can be placed 8 to 16 inches away from the user. Simply plug the microphone into the input labeled microphone on the Vocalize system brain box, and it is ready to go. Another option is the flex arm microphone. This option is great for attaching to a headrest or beside a bed. Simply plug in the cable and it is ready for use. Finally, turning to the speaker options on the Vocalize system, this is the crystal clear speaker. This speaker has the ability to be mounted on several different locations on a wheelchair. For example, using 2 of the available pilot holes on the frame of a wheelchair, the speaker can be bolted to the chair easily using the swivel mount that is attached to the speaker. Also, it can be attached to the side or the back of a wheelchair very easily using Velcro. To connect the speaker, simply plug in the cable into the input at the end of this short black cable. Another option is this privacy earphone, which sits comfortably over the ear. This option also plugs into the same input as the speaker. The last input on the Vocalize system's brain box is reserved for the programming switch. Now that we have the Vocalize system installed, let's take a look at how easy it is to train and start using the system. First though, let me tell you a little bit about how the system interacts with different types of cell phones. Let's start out by talking about flip phones and different types of basic phones. Even if yours doesn't have built-in voice recognition, the Vocalize system is actually able to do some command execution by itself. For example, the Vocalize system brain box has an internal memory that is capable of storing names and phone numbers of contacts. You simply train the system to recognize the names of contacts you use the most, and it will command your phone to call that contact. On the other hand, for many smartphones, the Vocalize system works directly with the voice commands built into your phone. On even newer smartphones, the system will prompt your virtual assistant, something like Siri on the iPhone, to begin listening for your commands. The reason this is so cool is because you will actually have the ability to send and receive text messages and emails using the Vocalize system on newer smartphones that have virtual assistants. Also, using third-party applications, you will have the ability to update social networking sites like Facebook and Twitter. Okay, enough about the technical stuff. Let's take a look at how to actually train the Vocalize system for use. First, you will need to have the control button to maneuver through the built-in menus of the Vocalize system. After the initial setup, this control button is used very rarely, so don't be afraid to tuck it away with the rest of the system. Now it's time to pair your phone with the Vocalize system. To do this, locate the Bluetooth option in the settings menu of your device to search for the Vocalize system. On my phone, it came up under the name Parrot V5.11c. However, it may show up as a different name on your phone. At this point, it is important that you have your Vocalize system's speaker or privacy earphone hooked up so you can hear it. When your phone is synced, your Vocalize system will announce that everything has been paired and was successful. Now that your devices are connected to one another, you can begin training your Vocalize system to understand and execute your commands. Let me show you how this training process works. Using the control button, turn the knob until the Vocalize system announces that you are on the Magic Words menu.
Magic words.
The system will announce whether magic words are activated or deactivated.
Deactivated.
If they are deactivated, press the button to activate this option. Once activated, the system will prompt you to train the magic words telephone,
Say telephone.
and hang up.
Say hang up.
The great thing about training these words is that you are not forced to actually use the words that are built in. For example, instead of training the phrase hang up, you could use the phrase end call instead. When training, you would simply use the alternate phrase or word, and the Vocalize system will automatically begin responding to the different command. Well, that's about it for this introduction to the Vocalize system by Broadened Horizons. I hope this has been helpful to you in your search for an accessible product that makes your phone truly hands-free. Remember, if you have any questions about this product or any of the other Broadened Horizons products, check out their website at broadenedhorizons.com or give them a call at 612-851-1040. That's it for now. I'm your host, K.L. Clayton.